Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. Yesterday I started running the T-post for the goats' new area, and let me tell you, this project has been brutal. So before I could even start running the T-post, I had to cut back more of this tree that had fallen down last August. Back in I think it was like January or February, I had come up and I had sectioned it all off. So most of the really big round pieces, like that are this big in diameter, which I would say that this thing is probably 22 inches across. So it's a good sized tree. It was a wild cherry tree. So everything that was in bigger diameter pieces last winter, I cut it into essentially the proper length for what we would burn it at. So then that way it was just going to be able to dry and that sort of thing. And then everything that was smaller in diameter, I cut it to being about 4 feet long-ish, somewhere in there, just so that way it was in movable pieces so I could just toss it down the hill. Now is the time when that's becoming a bit of a problem. So the first thing I had to do yesterday after I put in some posts was cut this back, so then that way this is not going to be inside of the pasture fence, but the fence is going to be like a foot in front of it. That'll give us about 4 extra feet of pasture area compared to what we had initially plotted out. So that's going to be a big difference because it's about 30 feet wide. So that 4 foot, that's like 120 square feet, I believe. So that's a good bit of space for goats. But so I got all the fence posts up that are going to be at this top part up here. They go across and then they start going down, and then I obviously went down on this side here, which it is kind of a wonky line, but the reason for that, here's all the blackberry bushes in the center here that the goats will eat. The reason that the lines get kind of wonky and crazy is because if I were to leave any trees in this area, then, the geese have spotted me. Anyways, if I were to have left any trees in this area, the goats would have ultimately, it's so annoying. The goats would have ultimately eaten off all of the bark of the tree, eventually killing the tree. So it's kind of nice that in the past, trees have been felled in this area way before we ever got here. So there was this natural opening in the woods over in here where there wasn't any trees. And then over in here, the same thing had happened. We have heard from neighbors that a long time ago, people that lived here back when I was a kid, they actually had run a cow up in the woods here, which I couldn't really imagine having a cow on this small of a property, but that was probably their only livestock. So they used to run a cow up in the woods here, so there is remnants of barbed wire, but I'm thinking that that's why this portion of the woods is cleared, and then also beside me here is also free of trees. But with saying that, this is still a full shade area for the most part because of where the sun tracks and whatnot, and there's still a good bit of tree coverage over here too. So the goats will be nice and cool in this area in the summertime. And since it is such a steep hillside, it won't be as wet as where they're at now, which is literally just down the hill all the way. But so, that was painful. Seriously, guys, like working with all these blackberries has been a nightmare. Like my body underneath my clothes looks like I got into a really big fight with our cat. And she's kind of a psycho. But yeah, it's not been fun. But so here's the remnants of the pile of logs from that cherry tree that had fallen down. I did get a ton of that cut up yesterday. So here's another angle of the logs. So there's not too much more to go. I got probably 2/3 to 3/4 of it done yesterday, and it is all in a very large pile down there next to the turkeys, which unfortunately there is a bit of a sinkhole there. I'm not sure if maybe there was a spring there at one point, not sure. But so that's kind of what caught all my wood. So it doesn't look that impressive of a pile, but I swear it was bigger at one point. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people claim that. But anyways, so the fence line over in here also kind of zigs out and around, just simply because there was an opening, and I don't really like straight lines. I like to sort of just move things with the contour of the earth and zing things in and out, especially because, well, it's easy to add a couple more feet of space for the goat paddock now before we put fence up than it will be if the fencing's already up and in place, because then it's kind of one of those things of could have made it a little bigger, but we didn't. But so that's how that's going, and I'll show you guys where I'm going to put their hut, because I had gone back and forth on if I was going to just move their house that they currently have or build them something new. But how the land comes down, at one point somebody had built out this small area right here, I'm guessing to store like a trailer or a boat or something of the sort. So it's kind of plateaued off right here. So this is where their pen is going to start, is right down in here. This is all flat area here. So kind of up in the center right over here is where I'm going to work on building their hut. I am aware that they will definitely use the hillside to try to jump up on top of the hut. So it's going to be probably 6-7 feet away from the fence, kind of just sort of centered right in here. So then that way they're not going to be able to jump out of the fence to go say hi to the ladies, which at this time of year, there's a lot of saying hi that's been trying to happen. So the goats currently, they live right down there. As you can tell, that was all very much downhill from where we were just at. So all of the water from the hillside pretty much just rushes down and floods their area, which is really going to be good for growing crops in their area next spring. But yeah, I've got a lot more work to do, and I'm really running out of steam of using the saw and using the T-post driver and the sledgehammer, and I hate doing fencing. That is the absolute worst homestead chore that I think there is. So anyways, wish me luck. Hopefully my skin will get a lot thicker so these thorns stop jabbing me so deeply. Don't like doing this at all, but once it's all done, this is going to be well worth all of the effort to then have them in a place they'll be much happier. It's a larger space, it utilizes the land better, and it also helps get rid of some of the invasive blackberries. I did not know that they could get this invasive until we got this property, and now I'm like, whoa, that's pretty intense. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.